Barry, Ellen, thank you for sitting down with me here in St. John's at the Seeds Canada annual meeting. Now, Barry, you just marked over 2 years as Executive Director for Seeds Canada. You came into the seed industry after being an Executive Director for a grain industry group, Grain Farmers of Ontario specifically. The last 2 and some years on the job, when you think back, what's been the easiest part for you, considering you have so much experience in the agriculture industry? And on the flip side of that, what's maybe been the biggest challenge for you?
Well, as far as the first question of what I found easiest or easy about the job is working with the people and with the passion they have towards the industry. I've worked, as you mentioned, in a number of different areas within the grain industry. And the passion in the seed industry is, I can tell you, second to none. And when you're working with a member organization, that is important, that you have your membership passionate about its organization and the work that it does on their behalf. So from that perspective, I would say, the commitment the members have towards the organization. The challenge, again, I came from GFO and in a merger situation similar to what we're going through here. And one of the differences I found soon into it was that with GFO, your farmers, they were the one client, and the emphasis towards that was basically shared amongst the 3 different organizations. That's market development, research, and business risk management. Here with this merger, there's 4 different organizations with different objectives, some similar, but also different. And keeping everyone happy is a challenge. And so that I found out, soon into this was the difference between my past experience and Seeds Canada.
Ellen, you just signed on again for another 2 years on the Seeds Canada Board of Directors. I'll pose the same question to you. What's been the easiest part of the job, the part that maybe came most naturally to you, and what's been the one part that maybe you felt you had more to learn on?
So probably a similar answer to what Barry gave, actually. I think the naturally part, I was president of CSTA before, so interacting with members, being on the board, probably, very similar moving forward in Seeds Canada. And again, just that interaction with members and making sure you're hearing their voice. So the challenging part, again, is as Barry said, making sure you're hearing what they want to say and making sure we are representing the members' needs moving forward on issues.
Okay, seed regulatory modernization. Big topic again on the agenda this year, of course. A big highlight is the report from John Groenewegen of JRG Consulting. It's a benchmarking study that compares Canada's seed regulatory system to others around the world. This report is of big interest to your members specifically. Having seen the findings of this report, what are your thoughts on how competitive Canada's seed system is when compared to others around the world, and how can we make it better?
Well, we found the report very positive as far as a snapshot of what's going on in those 5 countries that were looked at. And what we found out is, while we've got a good seed development environment today, it can be improved. And I think, we need to take those steps to improve it. I think one of the things I want to mention is it would have been good to have this environmental scan or the benchmarking study done at the beginning of the process instead of at the close of it, because right now the question is what is CFIA going to do with that, given I think we learned some very positive things in it. So that said, it is positive. The study World Bank did as far as where Canada stands as far as environment for seed development, and we rank fourth out of the 4 countries identified. So, while we say we've got a seed development environment that's the envy of the world, that actually isn't true. And we got some things to step up the pace and be, in fact, the envy of the world, but we aren't there yet.
Ellen, what do you think?
Well, I would agree. I mean, if you look at a couple of the companies that have pulled out of Canada in wheat, I think it speaks volumes of what they see on the regulatory framework and investing in Canada. So, yeah.
Seed Innovation Showcase. We just did the first inaugural one here at the meeting in St. John's. Seeds Canada and Germination partnered together to do it. When you think about innovation, what are some real-world examples that you guys are most excited about? I'll start with you, Barry. What's one example of innovation that really has a positive impact on farmers like you?
Well, the gene editing process that we're going through and have one more step to have full approval by CFIA, I tell you, is exciting. I think given what that technology can do, it's a simpler technology than genetically modified process. So I think it'll bring more competitiveness in as a farmer to the industry. It can do more, I think, to the issue of sustainability. I think the minister, in her announcement of the approval of the guidance document for gene editing that she, in the press conference she had 6 or 8 weeks ago, she mentioned gene editing and sustainability together several times. So I think it's that I would cite as one of the big innovations that are going to be positive to everyone in the industry.
Ellen, as general manager for C&M Seeds, what's an innovation that really excites you right now?
Well, I think all of the innovators that were your finalists, when you pull it all together, I think our sustainability story has to include it all. So as a seed company, the SWOT maps for growers to maximize fertilizer applications, et cetera, water management, seed coatings, I think is a big one. So that technology not only in the seed, but on the seed. So very interesting to see where we go in the 10 years, as we discussed with the panelists today. So pretty exciting.
Before I let you both go, we're going to sit down again a year from now at the Seeds Canada annual meeting in Edmonton. Barry, a year from now, when you think about SRM and all these things, where do you see Seeds Canada being? What's one big thing that you hope is accomplished by then?
Well, I'd like to see some resolve, some truly modernization in the SRM process. And again, in my remarks tomorrow, I'll talk about how we're frustrated. Some of the big changes that we were looking for at the outset of this process don't seem to be queuing up for the finish line. And I think we're looking at seed regs that are 100 years old, and they've been adjusted and tweaked accordingly over that period of time. But the world has changed so much, and again, what the regs were addressing even 10 years ago, not alone 20 or 30 years ago, aren't an issue for the seed industry anymore, including the farmer customers. And, our earlier comments about companies pulling out of the wheat breeding, we got to understand that we need an environment that's attractive to the small, medium-sized, and large companies to be putting money into. Seed breeding is risky enough without doing it in an obsolete environment. They'll go to where they get some assurity and lessens that risk. And if we don't act on that and make them hospitable for investment, they're going to move on to other places, and our farmer customers are going to be non-competitive in the world market.
Ellen, what about you? What's one thing you hope to see accomplished a year from now? Where do you see Seeds Canada being?
I think a year from now, again, SRM, huge topic, but as we discussed today, focus on sustainability, and there's lots of other things for Seeds Canada to accomplish, and hopefully we're at that spot in a year where we've maybe come to some conclusions on SRM, maybe time to move on to take us from that number 4 up to number 1. But yeah, I think hopefully some other topics on our agenda for sure for members.